Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. Actually, I think the mic might not be working here. Let's take a look. Good morning. I feel like my mic is not working. And I know now I don't wanna. Oh, I don't Oh, my mic is working. I thought my mic was not working. Okay, so good morning, YouTube. Hello, how are you guys? How are you doing? I'm having a typical morning, typical day for myself. Lordy. So today is a very interesting, whatchamacallit. Today's going to be an interesting message. And I can see why it has taken this long for me to come to this one. Okay, so let me get started on the message that I have for today. Actually, let me get a Bible verse either way. Let's see what comes up today. Okay, this is so random. Let's read it. Let's see what it's about. So this is 2 Samuel chapter 3. We got the Old Testament here today. And this is about David. This is David defeats Israel. That's the title of this chapter. So now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, but David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And unto David were sons born in Hebron, and his firstborn was Amnon of, just bear with me, Ahinoam, the Jazreelites, I guess I'm going to say, and his second Chileab of Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third Absalom, the son of Mac, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. Please forgive me on pronunciations of names here. And the fourth, Adonijah, the son of Haggith, and the fifth, Sephatire, the son of Abital, and the sixth, Ithrim of Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. David had 6 kids by 6 women in Hebron. And it came to pass, while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Saul. And Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah. The Ishbosheth said to Abner, wherefore hast thou gone in unto my father's concubine? Then was Abner very wroth for the words of Ishbosheth, and said, am I a dog's head, which against Judah do show kindness this day unto the house of Saul thy father, to his brethren and to his friends, and have not delivered thee into the hand of David, that thou chargest me today with a fault concerning this woman? So do God, so do God to Abner, and more also, except as the Lord have sworn to David, even so I do to him, to translate the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan ever to Beersheba. And he could not answer Abner a word again, because he feared him. And Abner sent messages to David on his behalf, saying, whose is the land? Saying also, make thy league with me, and behold, my hand shall be with thee to bring about all Israel unto thee. And he said, well, I will make a league with thee, but one thing I require of thee, that is, thou shalt not see my face, except thou first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see my face. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, deliver me my wife Michal, which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. My God, they were paying in foreskins. That's crazy. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, even from Phaltiel, the son of Laish. God, please bear with me with these names. These names are very difficult, or unfamiliar, not difficult. And her husband went with her along, weeping behind her, to Bahurim. Then said Abner unto him, go, return. And he returned. And Abner had communication with the elders of Israel, saying, ye sought for David in times past to be king over you. Now then do it, for the Lord hath spoken of David, saying, by the hand of my servant David I will save my people Israel out of the hand of the Philistines, and out of the hand of all their enemies. And Abner also spake in the heirs of Benjamin, and Abner went also to speak in the heirs of David in Hebron, all that seemed good to Israel, and that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin. So Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him. And David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and will gather all Israel unto my lord the king, that they may take a league with thee, and that thou mayest reign over all that thine heart desireth. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop, and brought in a great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace. Then when Joab and all the host that was with him were come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he hath sent him away, and he is gone in peace. Then Joab came to the king and said, what hast thou done? Behold, Abner came unto thee. Why is it that thou hast sent him away, and is he quite gone? Thou knowest Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive thee, and to know thy going out and thy coming in, and to know all that thou doest. And when Joab had come out from David, he sent messages after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sirah, but David knew it not. And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the 5th rib, that he died for the blood of Ashiel his brother. And afterwards, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord forever from the blood of Abner the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house, and let there not fail from the house of Joab one that hath an issue, or that or that is a leper, or that leaneth on a staff, or that falleth on the sword, or that lacketh bread. I'm going to just highlight that. I'm going to read those two. So that is 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 28 and 29. I'm going to read it again. It said, "And afterwards, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord forever from the blood of Abner, the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house, and let there not fail from the house of Joab one that hath an issue, or that is a leper." A leper is one with leprosy. That's like a visible illness. They used to think of it as a curse. Or that is a leper, or that leaneth on a staff, meaning difficulty walking. A staff is like a walking stick, a cane. Or that falleth on the sword, or that lacketh bread. So Joab and Bishai, his brother, slew Abner because he had slain their brother Ashiel at Gibeon in the battle. And David said to Joab and to all the people that were with him, "Render your clothes and gird you with sackcloth and mourn before Abner." And King David himself followed the bear. Bear spelled Bier, and I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to pretend to tell you. And they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king lamented over Abner and said, "Died Abner as a fool dieth? Thy hands were not bound, nor thy feet put into fetters. As a man falleth before wicked men, so fallest thou." And all the people wept again over him. And when all the people came to cause David to eat meat, while it was yet day, David swore, saying, "So do God to me, and more also, if I taste bread, or aught else, till the sun be down." And all the people took notice of it, and it pleased them, as whatsoever the king did pleased all the people. For all the people and all Israel understood that day that it was not of the king to slay Abner the son of Ner. And the king said unto his servants, "Know he not that there is a prince and a great man fallen this day in Israel? And I am this day weak, though anointed king, and these men, the sons of Zeruiah, be too hard for me. The Lord shall reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness." So the last verse, I just always like kind of highlight verses that I want to like go over because it kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about. So, topic of the day is witch hunts. The witch hunts. We've all heard of witch hunts before in history, and we can kind of figure out what that is. I have come through gang stalking to just literally feel like gang stalking is a modern day witch hunt. That's all I think it is. I think that, so a couple things have occurred, or I guess I want to say, I might maybe just list it in point form and kind of explain it from there. And I hope it makes sense for people. So, first of all, where do I even start with this? Okay, let me start with my own self. So, when I was younger, I have always been in the vicinity of seeing things that are unexplainable in a normal way. I have seen people who have been possessed. I have seen very abnormal things like my entire life. Even with my children as children, I've seen abnormal things with them. And I remember even friends that I ended up making, friendships that weren't supposed to last forever. It's like I got introduced to tarot for the very first time through a friendship. And then, but I wasn't into it. I got lured into it, not lured, like no one lured me, but I was like, I was tempted. I went and I bought like a set, and then I never used it because I was nervous. And then so things had happened, and then I went through an awakening. It was right prior to right before I opened my business. Shifts were happening. And, shifts have always happened in my life that didn't make sense. It's like I would succeed at something, and almost at the height of success, I'm pushed out of it. It makes no sense. Everybody there likes me. I'm doing well. I'm making good money. I like my life. I love my life. I can easily I already have an amazing life. And I'm being pushed. And it's like people are literally coming up to me and they're like, you should be having a business, right? Like, you should be in business. And I'm like, I don't even know you. What are you talking about? And I remember, and I've talked about it in past, that I went this random place. I got a tarot reading that I would never do. I just kept thinking I should get a tarot reading. I should get a tarot reading. I should get a tarot reading. I don't know why. I'm nervous to get it, but I should get it. I get the tarot reading. I cannot find the tarot reader ever again. And I'm not joking. I have driven past the place over and over and over again. It's like the building disappeared. I'm not exaggerating. I can't find even the building. If it was a place with like all black buildings and that building was pink, it's like the pink building is gone. It makes no sense. Like, I don't know what happened. So I knew I only came there for a message, and I wasn't supposed to keep going there. Um, and I talked about that story, how she was like terrified from everything that she saw in the reading. She wouldn't go deeper, blah, 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 all of this. So this all happened. And I went through that. And when I guess the journey started, it really started because I got into astrology, and I got really into astrology, not just like tropical astrology, I think, but not just like for face value, like your sun sign is this, but like actual birth charts and things like that. And it helped me understand people because I always had an issue understanding people. And what I mean by that is like, I could fake fitting in. I know how to like behave to fit in, but I don't fit in. Like, I don't, if I had to be myself, people wouldn't understand me. So people can enjoy me, but I can't enjoy people because I don't understand people. So I constantly feel like I'm learning every time I interact with people. And this is as an adult. I've only come to a point of understanding people like very recently. And I want to say maybe like the year before being gang stalked, or a year or two before being gang stalked, did I finally set in where it's like, oh my God, I feel like one of you now, if that makes sense. I don't know how to make sense of it. And if you can make sense of my words, make sense of it. And if you cannot make sense of my words, that's fine. Just try to follow along with me as best as you can. But it was only up until maybe a year or two before being gang stalked where I finally understood. Not I could do enough to get by, to be understood by others, to fit in, but I feel, I guess, like how other people feel. Maybe I don't feel like how other people feel, but it's like finally I'm comfortable here. I've melded in, I've gelled in here. I understand, because I could never understand people. Astrology helped me to understand, like, why did that person do that? Why did they do that? Why do they feel that way? What's wrong with them? So it would be like, oh, they feel that way or they behave that way because they have a Pisces Mars, or because they're this or they're that. And it was very technical in the beginning until it came to the point where it was like, okay, I can understand now from a human perspective, if you will. Right when I was enjoying all of this happening, I get gang stalked and my reputation is destroyed, and all of these relationships are clawed down, and I go through all of this right when it finally works out for me. So prior to the actual gang stalking happening, I go from astrology to tarot. And so, when you get these initial tarot readings, the initial tarot readings talk about um as they're like astrological readings. So it's like sun signs, earth signs, whatever. um and then it goes, from all of that, and then I get into warfare readings. And I think the warfare readings in the beginning are absolutely ridiculous, but they're entertaining. So there was this one time I had just gone through a breakup, and I'm reading and going through the I'm going through the warfare readings, and it comes to a point where it's kind of like a soap opera to me. It's not something that is relatable in any way. It's just a soap opera. So it's like I would kind of, and the readings are long, like really long. So I would kind of time when I prepare my meals, like how you pick your favorite Netflix show and you time it to your meal. So as you're preparing your meal, you're like, I'm going to watch this show. That's how I was like consuming warfare readings. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? Because some of it was like, girl, bye. Like, it was like, oh, like they would use words like galactic and astral and this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. But, anyways, I'll follow along because the storyline of it is interesting. So there's a storyline here, and the storyline's talking about somebody's ex-wife is doing this and their friends are doing that and whatever. And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't know if this person who's doing this reading is making this up, but this person has an insane imagination. Like, what is it? Like, this person should I'm literally thinking like this person should like write books, or they should like make movies, because what is this? This is entertaining. And then one day it gets to be a little too specific to my situation. It is entirely too specific, and I get nervous. So as I continue reading it, I have to like show other people in my house and be like, look, read this and tell me what you think of this. And they're reading it and they're like, whoa, that's a bit specific. What is that? And so it goes like this for months and months and months and months until I get to the point where it's like, I can kind of figure that this tarot reading is going to predict whatever is going to happen in my life or whatever is happening around me. So yesterday I talked about the fact that it is a collective, because there are so many people that are saying that these things that the tarot readings are talking about align with their life too. So I'm realizing it's like a group of people that all of this is happening to. So I evolved from tarot, from astrology to tarot. And then I start going deeper. I'm learning about crystals, I'm learning about altars and all of that, but not in a witchy, what I would consider a witchy way. It's literally like, okay, so the crystal for Virgos is carnelian, and carnelian has these properties, and it does this, and it does that. And you're looking at crystal as jewelry and all of this other stuff. And so and so going through all of this, it's very cute. And then people are taking pictures of their altars and their spiritual setups, and it's really cute. Like, they have a lot of pretty colors, the crystals look like jewelry, it's a lot of rose quartz and amethyst, and then you're reading up on different things, different plants and all that sort of thing, and it's just talking about like little things that are happening, and like people are doing, and little rituals, and you can do this for this and that for that. And it's all very cute, to be honest with you. Um, none of it is terrifying. None of it is scary. Um, it's just something that, you'll adopt little by little because you're like, oh, well, I believe in this and I like this, but it's something you keep to yourself because it's not it's not like a belief. You don't consider it a belief. You don't even consider it a hobby or a pastime. It's just what you're into on your own time. Like, I'm sure if you go on everybody's social media, there's things that they're into. There are some people, for me at one point it's cooking. There's some people it might be, anime, whatever it is. It's whatever you personally like or whatever you're into, and it's not like you got to go out there and tell people, because what does it matter that I watch anime on Twitter, right? So I go through all of this. Gang stalking starts, and slowly but surely, I'm walking down this little path, and people, and then I hear the term baby witch and white witch, and people are talking about certain things, and all of these people are very beautiful people. These are very um, good people. These are pure-hearted people from what you can see. These are not, there's no conflict here, there's no chaos, there's no fighting. It's just you're learning. So I'm walking down this path, and then I stumble into a little bit of the dark side of it. I stumble into people having altars, people, praying for certain things to certain entities and energies, and then I'm just kind of like, whoa. And I feel like I'd like to back off from that side of it. It just feels uncomfortable to me. The energy in this side of, it just feels uncomfortable. So when I first got gang stalked, and I can feel, even prior to being gang stalked, I can just feel the energy way prior to that, that there is spiritual stuff happening. Now, even prior to learning about all of that stuff, I've taken prayer and meditation very seriously. It's been very religious for me. So as I didn't know I was taking a walk. I did not know I was taking a walk. Had I known I was taking a walk, I might have, thought about it twice. But I pray, and, I didn't pray to Jesus or God the Father. I prayed to the universe. And I was learning how to manifest and making things happen in my life. And you couldn't convince me that I didn't know how to get anything done that I wanted to get done in my life, because I had been doing it. And it was shocking. It was shocking as these things happened. But there was also another side to it, where things would happen in my life and I'd always be like, there's another energy here. There's something happening here. But every time I would come close to figuring that out or to questioning that, anytime I would come close, it's like something would stop me. It's like I would be distracted in some way, or something else would happen where it's like I lose the opportunity to really think something through. And there were a couple events that really made me pause and say, no, something's happening here. I used to call it karma at the time, and which is not wrong. It was karma. I definitely knew that anytime something bad were to happen to me, or someone did something to me, that karma would be very aggressive for the person or the people who did it. That I was sure, because this is like a lifelong thing. It's my entire life. It's not just at awakening. This is my entire life. So that has always put me in a mindset where people do things to me and I don't ever feel the need to retaliate, because I'm like, you're going to pay for that. And, to even further that, it's not just that they pay for it. It's like I started feeling sorry for people who did things to me. So there were people who did things and I would immediately panic and start praying for them, and like begging God or the universe, like, to please, like, they don't know what they did. They don't understand, like, spare them or whatever. Because, I'm like freaking out because I know what's going to happen, and I know it's going to happen for sure. And one thing I also know is that I cannot control this energy. I cannot tell the energy not to do something and the energy doesn't do it. I'm not in control of this energy. I have to beg. I have to plead on behalf of people. And even still, sometimes the energy is like, no, no. And the energy communicates in feelings, in energy, communicates in energy. And so there's times I'm like, please not this person, because I care about them. And, I know they did something wrong, but it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. And the energy would be like, no. Not like a no that can be convinced, like a no that is a no. No, they're gonna get karma. And so when I got into gang stalking at the very, very, very beginning, I mean the very beginning, and there was the gang stalking and everything else that was occurring, I thought to myself, people have gone through horrible things for way, 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 way less than this. Way less than this. What on earth are these people doing? And I kind of like sat back, and it's kind of where I am now, where I'm just like, I've never seen it take this long. I don't think that's a good thing. Um, it's not that karma's not happening, but the real karma is not happening. The real karma is not happening here. It's not. When the real karma happens, everybody will know karma's happening. Right now, it's like, I don't know what's happening. Whatever, however difficult it feels, it's not how it looks. This is not how it looks when it goes down. So I'm sitting here, and all of these things that have happened and all of these little evolutions are kind of still in the air, but they're separated. They haven't been pieced together yet. So they're just all over the place. And it takes the entire gang stalking situation for them to converge and come together. It takes the entire gang stalking situation, the entire experience, for all of it to come together. So many things have happened in the course of being gang stalked. I've seen so many energies as apparitions, and I've just always been in awe that I've never been afraid of any of them. I've never had fear towards any of them. And I don't know why that is, because people should be afraid of some of the stuff that I'm seeing. And energy has appeared to me that has been so familiar to me. And it's like it doesn't dawn on me what this sounds like to other people, because it's so natural to me. So when I first was talking about, it's like I can acknowledge the energy that is with me. I can acknowledge my higher self, yes, as the energy of death, but I don't perceive her as bad. I perceive her as warm and loving. And I can tell you, so one time I was on a trip, and they were explaining about the land of the dead and ancestral worship and all of that. And when everybody was done, they were asking if they would give, this is a high priest, if they would give donations, and nobody gave a donation. And I was like, it doesn't matter if we agree or understand what he's talking about. It's the fact that he's given of his time. And I can tell this person's he's very sincere, and he's very serious about what he's talking about. And so I ran, and I actually asked someone for money to give to him. And I gave him the money, and he was very shocked that I gave him anything. And it looked like he was very used to people not giving any donations. And he was shocked. He was like, "Oh, thank you." And he took a look at me, and he saw her. I know he saw her, because the way he looked at me, he was stunned and he froze. And I know he saw something, and I ran off. I ran off quickly. And I remember as the tour bus was leaving, I looked at him in the window, and he still stood there frozen. He was still frozen. He was looking at the bus, like he was frozen looking at the bus, like he looked like he was in shock. And I didn't know at the time what happened, what he saw, but I just knew that I wanted to give him it was a pretty generous, was it a pretty generous donation? I don't know. I don't think it was anything crazy, but it wasn't like a couple dollars. It wasn't like $2 or anything. It was like I I I just felt the need to give something decent. So I move forward, gang stalking happens, and I can see magic all around me. Like I can see it in real time. I can see what's happening. And I remember, like, I started, that's how I got gang stalked, is because I said to someone that there's spell work happening here. And that's what made me an enemy of the witches who decided to gang stalk me, is because I saw what they were doing. And I think over time they realized that I was going to wake people up. And so the gang stalking started. And essentially, and I remember in the very beginning, the the chief witch or the head witch in charge of this operation or whatever, they said, hey, do you know how to do this or that? And I was like, or they asked me some type of question because they wanted to know, like, what do I know about any of that stuff? And I said, I'm a baby witch. And I said I was a white witch. And they're like, what's that? In disgust. And I remember it was in disgust. Like, what's that? I heard the term on Twitter, honestly. I heard the term on Twitter. It wasn't that I was some type of expert in this. I heard it on Twitter. And I definitely know that they thought it was some kind of joke, that they thought they were probably laughing at me for sure. And, so then I inherited my tutors. The people who are meant to wake you up are the same people who attack you. That is how this thing is designed. Because from the place that you're in to the place that you have to get to, you cannot get there by yourself. If you have to get there by yourself, you will also have the opportunity to refuse the path that you're supposed to be on. I would have refused this path had I not been gang stalked, because every time I came to something that was a little bit deeper, I refused it. The reason being is because I felt myself to be too much of a practical person. I am a business person. I deal with practical human things. I believe in, paying your taxes and buying a home and working hard, and that's how you get things done. I am a very practical person. I am not a person or I was not a person who thought you can get things done by this. I definitely think you can manifest, you can wish, you can hope, but you got to do the work. Like, there's no such thing as just sitting there and things naturally, like, magically appear in your world. So I go through all of this, and that is where, spirit reveals itself to me, is that, like, I'm here now because now I can accept it. Now I can accept this path because I've seen the dark side of it in front of me with no masks, no veil, nothing. I'm seeing it for what it is. So I'm going through all of this, and I realize, now that I've come here, now that I've come full circle with everything, a lot of things. First of all, your spiritual ascension comes long before you awaken, long before gang stalking. It starts years before. When it started, I stopped eating meat for a bit. I went celibate. I started growing out my hair naturally. I was interested in different things. I became a different person in a way that I couldn't go back. There was no going back to straightening my hair. There was no going back to doing makeup in a certain way, to trying to mask myself, my features, who I am. I accepted myself fully. I became a better version of myself. I healed old wounds, which, because I didn't like the way things felt. I didn't like the feeling of being hurt by certain things. So I would go out of my way to heal things. I would go out of my way to feel better about things, to understand like why did certain things happen, how did certain things happen. So I went through all of these things, and after going through a ton of different things, then I got to the gang stalking stage. And now that I'm all the way here, I can finally say to myself, these things all had to happen prior to me waking up. I couldn't wake up without these things occurring in my life, because I would not have been open. Sorry, I would not have been open to the path that I have to take. And I feel like that's how what has to happen with um people that are going through gang stalking. That's what has to happen to you, is you have to walk the path, and it's incremental. A lot of the things happening, you can't avoid them. A lot of It's like, if it's your path for you to ascend and to awaken, it's going to find you. Even if it stagnates, your spirit guides are going to continue. And I don't know if necessarily it stagnates or it is meant to happen either way. And from the way that I see things now, I feel like it's meant to happen for other people either way. I kept finding people and giving people advice and giving people things that they needed in order to help them. I was being gang stalked, and people came to me and they would give me a problem and I would give them a solution, and they were eager to take it. But this did not look like people who would naturally be eager to take these solutions. This did not look to me like people who were magical people. These were not people who, if I had met them at their job in the bank and said to them, hey, here's a solution to this, that, or the third, they would have been like, yay, give me the solution. It didn't look like people like that. It looked like people that were literally, because they were forced to be in a tough situation and they needed um, a solution, they would be open to it because they needed the solution. It was like myself. I kept being put in situations where I need a solution because I'm having a tough time. That is how I got walked down the path. The whole time, I'm like, these are witches. Witches are demonic. I hate witches. Witches are evil. I didn't say I hate witches, but witches are evil, this, that, and the third, and whatever. And I'm being beaten out of the very sweet nature that I'm in into someone who must fight to defend themselves. I can only describe myself up until when this happened as like Disney fairy nice. Like how you see a Disney fairy skipping through the forest, through the woods, stumbling into the big bad wolf's house, like that. Naive, kind, doesn't think people are evil or people are even capable. I really think the world is perfect because I've been spared of experiencing horrible things literally my entire life. Not to say my life hasn't been difficult, but nothing near the things that I've heard of now that people have gone through, nothing near anything like gang stalking. Not, I didn't know people were like this. I didn't know it was possible for people to feel these emotions that people have felt or that I've witnessed people feel. I didn't know that was even possible. I didn't know. And I saw the people feeling this way as them suffering. I was like, you're suffering. This is horrible that you feel this way. Because I always want to help people. So I go through all of this. I go through my ascension. I walk my path. And I remember I was one day in the car and I was kind of thinking about something that had been said in a collective reading. It wasn't necessarily about me, but it was in a collective reading. And it was something that was said about, it was just essentially like, you're a witch or this and that. And I was like I said, I tend to troll when I think things are ridiculous. And I was trolling and I was like, yeah, I am a witch. Fine. I'm a witch and I'm a better witch than you. And immediately Spirit was like, yeah, you are. Not with words, but just confirming, like, yeah, you are. And I was like, what? And it was like, that was the first time that I considered. Now, prior to that, I remember there were messages that I was receiving again through readers, and the reader was saying something like, something about that's what witches do or whatever. And she drank from a cup, and the cup said the word witch on it. And I was like, I accept everything you've said except that part. I remember saying that in my head. I am not a witch. And I realized it's because we have likened the word witch to something that is negative. We've likened the word witch to bad things happening. Give me a second here. Yes. So we've likened the word witch to something that is negative. And I realized that that's happened because of people who follow the left hand path, people who follow the dark arts. These people are afraid of them because if you even look at them the wrong way, if you even threaten them, they run home and they do something to you and they start attacking you. Every single one of them that I have met, as soon as I refused their friendship or something in a certain way, they would never say anything. They would never show that they were offended, and they would go home and start attacking me. So when I opened my business and I opened in the mall, these other girls who practiced, they turned around and they tried to attack me as well. Their business got shut down after that. Then I remember the business itself didn't shut down, but they lost their platform. And an Instagram platform is not necessarily the easiest thing to lose either. So I don't know how that happened, but they lost their platform. And then I started noticing like, and it's obviously really difficult to build a platform as well. So them losing a platform and having a bunch of locations, and I started noticing their locations would open and close. And part of me kind of suspected that perhaps they were being gang stalked. I wasn't sure, but I just kind of left it as it was what it was, because I hadn't been gang stalked at that time. But looking back now, I'm like, maybe they were being recruited, maybe they were being gang stalked, whatever. But these girls had always had an issue with me. It was always like fighting energy with them, and they took it too far. And then it's like I would notice other people would come at me, and I noticed this other witch try to get my store shut down, and she would periodically come by to come check if the store was open, if we were making money. And she would come into the store and she would look around and stuff. And I knew it was her. And over and over and over, these people kept attacking me. And they would not be doing it openly, it would always be done with witchcraft. So I started associating witchcraft not with the craft of witchery, but with people doing horrible things. And I feel like that's how everybody associated it with. And I've come all the way with my gang stalking journey to realize it's witches that hunt other witches. It's people that are in a left-hand path hunt people in a right-hand path. They hunt these people down. These are very kind people who block their work, who block the evil things that they're doing, who block the strongholds that they have with entities. And along with these entities, they fight us and they try to claw us down. One of the biggest things that they don't want us to do is they don't want us to tell regular people how to take care of themselves, how to stop the things that they're doing. They don't want us to wake the other ones up. That's what they don't want. They don't want us to wake the other ones up. This is where you get to gang stalking. You've woken up one person, and maybe that person is destined to wake up other people. Maybe you're destined to wake up other people. This is what they want to stop. And the entities are telling them that you're going to block their money, but really the entities want to stop you as well, because you're going to create a blockage for them. And so really the gang stalking is witch hunting. They have gone out of their way. They've gone professionals and all of this to tell you it's the government, it's all of this stuff. It's witches, it's covens and secret societies that know we work with light energies. So, what really is magic? Magic is energy manipulation, and that is all. Magic is when you manipulate energy. It's neither good, it's neither bad, it's both. It's like saying, what is a knife? A knife is a tool you use to cut things. Is the knife bad or is the knife good? The knife is neutral. What is bad or good is the way you use the knife. You can use a knife to hurt someone, or you could use a knife to create art. You could use a knife to cook. It just depends on the person using the knife. That is the exact way to think about magic. Magic is neither good or bad. It is the person using the magic that determines how is this magic manifested. That is all. Very clean, very simple. That is all. That's all there is to it. What you're learning when you go through gang stalking is energies being manipulated, but they're convincing you it's machines. They're convincing you it is equipment. They're convincing you it is like these weapons of whatever. It's magic. And they're doing all of that because they just don't want you to accept that it's magic. Because if you do, you take the magical path, you're blocked from your guides. And some of us are strong. We are strong. And they fear that. They fear you knowing how strong, how amazing you are, because your literal purpose is to get rid of them. Groups of them at a time, as a matter of fact. That's what you're here for. That's what they want to stop. They've demonized the word witch. Even I did not want to be associated with witch, with that word. Tarot readers that are just waking up, that are doing good, that are good people, do not want to be associated with that word. We do not like that word. And I get it. They're like, who wants to be associated with it? And it's taken so long for me to accept the word. But it is what it is. And I thought for the longest time, and I talked about this yesterday, I've never called myself a witch. But I thought, well, I don't know how to do spell work, because I'm assuming spell work is dark arts. Spell work is all the things that other people are doing. I don't even know how to do that. I don't want to know how to do that. Why would I? I can just pray, I say. I can just pray and God will take care of my issues. When I got here, God was like, I have been taking care of your issues. It's time for you to learn how to take care of some of these things you ask me for. It's so simple. You can do all of this yourself. I'm like, no, I can't. How do I do it? And it's like, God's like, well, you're going to learn how to do it. And I fall into it naturally, without being told, without just naturally knowing how to do things. And so this is how you're supposed to go through your ascension, is you learn how to do things. You just pick it up, or it comes to you, or you do what's logical, or in a panic situation, you just know. A lot of these situations were what I would call spiritual emergencies. And in a spiritual emergency, you just fly into action and you just know what to do and you do it. And it's like, oh my God. Thinking back now, I'm like, where the heck did that come from? I don't know how I did that. I don't know why I did that. Where did that come from? This is what happens. On this course, the universe is essentially saying, we have to force you to learn and open your eyes. If it's not dire, you're not going to open your eyes. And so we have to use live ammunition. If we give you a simulation, in a way it's a simulation because nothing's going to happen to you. You're being guided and protected. But it's with live. They're using live ammunition here. This is real magic they're throwing at you. It's not a beginner course. It's heavy stuff. So if you're being initiated by the universe, it's because of a higher purpose that you have. We are in service of humanity, whether we accept it or not, whether we know it or not. We are in service of humanity. And I remember all the time they kept saying the natural world needs you. People need you. And because I kept saying, like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And then all I saw throughout gang stalking was the suffering of others. They didn't convince me of anything. They didn't tell me. They didn't push me. They just showed me other people suffering and my heart would break. And then I would go praying for people and saying, this is not right. People should not be going through this. This is wrong. How can, I used to say, because I still thought of God almost in a Christian way, but not as a Christian God. I thought of the universe kind of in that way. And I kept saying, how can you expect people to believe in you if they're suffering like this? We must do something. Something must happen. What can I do? How can I help? And so this is slowly but surely. So I knew I was going to get on YouTube. I knew this platform was going to happen. I knew eventually this was going to happen naturally, because it was like, I felt like I got to tell people, I got to explain to people that they're worried about people following them. And that does not matter. Doesn't even matter. They could follow you for the rest of their life. That is not what's changing your reality. You can get used to people following you. You can ignore people following you. In fact, I don't really care if people follow me now or not. I just know that they have to follow me. They don't have to follow me just because they're being paid. They're following me because they have to follow me. I'm going to leave it at that. Your ascension. I've heard of people who pay for ascensions. So they pay for an ascension, and they learn how to do spell work. They learn how to do certain things, and then they say, this is my life calling, this is my purpose. No, this is money for you. You're getting paid to put love spells on people and make people suffer and take away other people's natural ascensions. You're evil and you're part of the problem. You whoever paid for you to be a witch, you're a fake witch. People who are elevated and who are woken up by the universe and who come here for a purpose, even if they start in the dark arts, like they're confused, or maybe that's how their training comes about, the universe still picks them when they're ready. The universe still takes them up when they are ready. And so 100%, anyway, I'm not going to do that right now. No, yes, I am. Give me a second here. These were the messages that they really wanted to stop. So the new guy that they hired, I don't know if they hired him or what he's about. You're really energetically weak. Like, I don't know. It's like I don't know where they find these people, if they're kids or what, how they find these people. And it's like, you can kindly tell someone like not to do something. And it's like, this person's not equipped to do what it is they're stepping into here. If the person before them couldn't do it, why are they sending this child? This person here, they're in their 30s. If they're in their 40s, very early 40s, but I don't think so. Who is this guy? He's too weak for the things that you guys are sending this person to do. So why would you heartlessly put this person in this situation? And anyway, you can only tell him only so much, and it's like, I don't know. I guess it's on purpose that it has to happen, but he's been warned. Like, this kid is not equipped to handle the energy that he's like. These people know what energy that they're up against, and they send children into these situations, and I don't know how they convince them. But it's like, if you're trying to, a child is crossing protection work. Look at the setup. First, they make you cross, they send someone to try to weaken the protection. The protection is not the scent. The scent is just uncomfortable. The scent is just uncomfortable. The protection is not in the scent. They try to weaken it, so they send this person first to cross in. Whatever energies this person has with them is not going to cross the protection with them. They cross in, and they cross in a weakened state, unprotected, in a space that has other energies into it. Are you people like, there is no way not to call these people low IQ all the time. Magic should not be done by people of lower IQ. I realize that. You should not be playing in energy work when you're not using your head, because you cannot just be one. I realize why spirit waits for you to be very practical, have a good head on your shoulders before you start this. Because if you start this as a child, if you start this and all you think is that the world is just 5D, you do things like this. You must reside in a 3D world. You are crossing protection work. Protection work is not just about I crossed it and my body felt tired or my body got weakened. Protection work kills you spiritually. Protection work destroys your 5D vessel. You become, the protection doesn't want to stay with you because the protection knows better. If your protection work won't cross with you, why are you crossing? You shouldn't do things that spirit doesn't do. Just because, what are you going to come in here to do? A little headache, a psychic attack, or to poke? How the hell is that going to change the price of rice in China? How is that going to stop the message? How does the end justify the means? To give someone they just taught this guy how to do a little, like, this is how you do a little headache, and this is how you do a little thing. That just lets somebody know that you're in their space. It doesn't do anything to them. It has no effect other than to expose that you're there, and you stink, you reek like an abandoned house. It means spiritually already, you're already on death's doorstep already, because you smell like homelessness. You smell like you live in an abandoned warehouse. Then the smell is going to evolve. Your predecessor smells like feces. What does that mean? They are already spiritually dead. We are only waiting for the 3D to catch up. Why do people continue doing things like this? It's not going to stop what is written in the 5D. In the 5D, it's already done. This is why it is a waste of time for everybody involved. They keep hiring more people. Why won't people accept you're walking into a tomb? You know this person has an energy here. If you astrally don't want to astral project into the energy because the spirit is chasing you out, then why do you think that energetically projecting in here is going to be any better for your spirit? You people already don't have spirit guides because no spirit guide would allow this. They already don't have spiritual protection, and they keep thinking they're accomplishing something, and it's Groundhog's Day. Every single day the messages come out. Every single day more evolution happens. Every single day their energy stops mixing with your energy. You pull away, you evolve, and their life gets worse and worse every day. And every time something falls apart, they do the same thing, expecting a different result, thinking it's the illusion of making any change. It makes no difference. For it to come to a point that people have to take mercy on you to explain to you what you should already know, why whatever you think is going to happen to you as a result of not doing it has already been written in stones. It's already written in the stars. It's going to happen either way. It's already happened energetically. It is so ridiculous. If you see someone walking around knowing you're in their space and they're unbothered by it, is because they already see you as a non-issue. You're already in the past. It is silliness, summoning people and doing all of these actions. What is it gonna do? Look at my face. What has worked? It's not working. All of your magic is working on you. This is why you're not supposed to teach people magic before you teach them common sense. Common sense, not even intelligence, because when intelligent people do magic, they take their time. They take their time and they think about what they're doing, and it must make sense. It's not because everybody's done it this way, or this is the way we do it, or this is the way how we do it. It must make sense. Case by case. Yes, it worked on 1,000 people, but this case is different. 1,000 people were not protected by death itself. Maybe this one might be a bad idea. I know that it has to play out this way, but it's like, oh my God, how can a person not look at this and be like, why are they so fucking dumb? What is coming in here going to change? If the spiritual bind that was supposed to be permanent broke off, what are we trying to do now? Are we trying to open a new cycle? I mean, is there a plan here? Because there seems to be no plan. And whoever this kid is should not be doing this. This is a child. Even if they may be whatever age as an adult, this is an energetic child. This person is afraid. This person is nervous and they shouldn't be here. Whoever the lady is, she shouldn't be here either. They keep forcing these people in here to do this work that these people don't want to do. They're ill-equipped, and these people are going to crash. They're already crashing. They're already afraid. They already don't want to do it. Anyway, this is so dumb. It feels like dealing with children. And literally, when you're going through gang stalking, at some point, you get to a point in your energetic journey where it just feels like sitting there and there's like a 2-year-old that keeps throwing a tantrum, and you keep like taking the hand and like putting it over there, and it comes back and it's angry, but it's like a toddler. So it's like you stop being mad because you're like, this is literally a child having a tantrum, and nothing's going to happen other than it's going to tire itself out, and it keeps screaming and being upset. Like, that's what it feels like energetically. You're dealing with a toddler who just like, who won't stop, and you see it hurting itself, and you're like, why is it, this is not even going to work. It hasn't worked and it won't work. You got to get to this point with your journey where you literally have to start seeing this as what it is. When somebody says that, I don't want to use the word inferior because I don't want people to think that anybody is insulting them or anything like that. But when somebody says you're ill-equipped or you're not equipped for this situation that you're in right now, this is somebody literally having mercy on you, telling you that you are not equipped to fight death itself. You're not equipped to fight any of the energies here. All of the energies here, all of the energies that these people waking up carry are all of, not one of them by itself is one of the energies that you want to go against, even just one of them. There is a whole flock of them. It is not for anybody to jump in their ego and roll around and throw a tantrum. It is literally to tell people that what they're doing here is not going to work. And they've been told this over and over and over again. It's not going to work. When has the third eye magic ever worked? When has trying to block the connection ever worked? When has trying to block a download ever worked? When has trying to block communication ever worked? Not even one day out of the almost over 800 days that we've been at this, more than 800 days we've been at this. When has it ever worked? Not one time. Really, some of this stuff here is not to protect. It's like, you got to look at protection work like this. And I meant to bring this up anyway. When you're protected by certain energies, and especially when you carry this energy, the protection work is really not to protect them from coming in or to protect yourself from them coming in. It is to further weaken them. That's really all it is. Because you know they're going to cross it anyway. And if they don't cross it now, eventually they will. And I knew this from back doing with the salt. They're going to cross through sage. They're going to cross through any protection work, and the protection work is going to get stronger and stronger, and they're going to cross through it. And all it does is it speeds up whatever had to happen. So if, say, for example, they would have been weakened with backfires and it would have taken 2 years, crossing protection work brings it down to like 3 months. Because all you're doing is you're weakening yourself energetically before the backfire comes back. So they come in, they do something, they cast a spell, they do something to your altar. They cross back the protection work because they have to. They can't live in here forever. They got to eat. They got to use the washroom. They got to do something. They pull out. The backfire comes. No spiritual protection from any energies, because dark entities do not protect. That's not what they're here for. No protection from spirit guides and no advice. Blocked third eyes. And finally, no auric protection. Naturally, your aura comes with a natural layer of protection to it. No auric protection. And so something's coming back that has your energetic signature on it, and it's literally passing through no protection. You wonder, how comes it hit you like that? Is my work that strong? Actually, your work is not that strong, but the way that it's hitting you, because it's coming back, is because you keep crossing protection lines. The point of protection lines is not because people cannot cross them energetically. The point of a protection line is you combine the protection work with cleansing. You combine the protection work with getting rid of that energy, because that energy is not going to be here anyway. It shouldn't be here anyway. And that leads me into, I don't know if this is going to be my final point as far as the witch hunting goes. When people are initiated into these societies and they do this kind of work and they tell people that karma doesn't exist, etc., they teach people to delay karma, not avoid it, delay it. Karma, death, and time are very fixed. This trinity, these are fixed in the 3D. Anything in the 3D is bound by time, which is the father energy, which is sun, death, which is the mother energy, which is the moon, and karma. All three. Nobody escapes. Can you stop aging? Can you stop getting old? Can you stop maturing? No. Can you stop yourself from dying? Haven't people been trying to do that? Can you stop karma? Also, no. They try to delay it as much as they can. They try to pass it off. They try to do all of this stuff. But here's karma. Here's karma for groups of people. And I hate to say it, if you meet people that ascend by the universe, you've met karma. You have met karma. So we know father time, mother death. Who's karma? Karma is the angels. The angels are karma. When they say you're an earth angel, sometimes they don't specify what kind of angel you are. There are many different kinds of angels. Angels are not necessarily just heavenly angels. Angels can be underworld angels, because these energies rule everywhere. They lord over every dimension, whether it's the underworld, whether it's earth, whether it's heaven, it's all the same thing. Everything is of service to the crown, whether it takes an oath or not. The same way they have their secret societies and they coax you to do certain things, sell certain clothes, behave in a certain way, promote different things, and you didn't take the oath, but you're of service to their society. That's the same way. You might hate what they stand for, but in what you're doing, you're of service. It's the same way they are of service. Everything's of service. I talked about that yesterday. So these energies are here, and they believe that they, in some way, are not of service to the crown, and they are, because what they're doing through gang stalking is, one, they're giving away their power to the very people that they're attacking. They're transferring their gifts to these people. They know how this works, or they should, but they think you're naive, but it works the same way. When you attack them, it's almost like giving your power away. So when you stay in this energetic war with these people all the time, these people fight you over a period of time. It's almost like a transference of their gifts. There are certain things that they will notice that they can't do anymore. They're just unable to do it anymore because they keep doing it to you. The second thing that they do, and the second way that they give away, the second thing, sorry, that they give away is their energy. They become depleted over time. This happens in multiple different ways. They deplete their life force, not their just human energy, their life force, by participating in these things. And even though they know better, they keep doing it. They defeat themselves. And the third thing is they teach you by attacking you. So you have no choice but to find a solution, because why would you sit here with no solution? Why would you sit here without defending yourself? They could call you whatever they want. They could call you a demon. They could call you a this and a that. But by crying and complaining like that, they just show themselves to be inferior. It's just basically like saying, I lost, so I'm going to come and throw another tantrum. It's the childlike toddler energy again. There's only a certain point that you're not going to step into what you need to step into. If you stagnate yourself, you only stagnate yourself, but there's no going back. There's no knowing that energy doesn't exist. It exists, and you know this. You know that you're being energetically attacked. No, it is not all of these machines. It's not the CIA. It's not, the technology and whatever. They go out of their way to make these videos, to make these platforms, to do these interviews. It's all BS. It's black magic. That's all it is. It's black magic. You have to step into your spiritual path in order to get out of this. And it's not just to get out of this, but you're going to step into whatever your purpose is, one way or the other way. And if that means that the universe allows it to intensify, then that's what happens. But one way or the other way, you step into what it is that you have to step into. And there is no getting around it. It is what it is. You cannot have the same tutor for forever. Once these people step into your energetic cloak and they become of service, the universe takes everything away from them in order to focus exclusively on training you. So it's like an unpaid 24-hour a day position. It's like 24-hour a day antagonization mode. That's the best. I laughed so hard when I heard that, because I was like, that's so accurate. People are in a 24-hour a day antagonization mode. That puts you in a position where you start realizing, like, I got to do something about this, because I can't stay here like this. And everything and everyone around you gets ascended in the same way, because that's how they know. That's how they learn. So this is all it is. Gang stalking is hunting witches before witches ascend, or during their ascension. But in the same token, gang stalking is the ascension. It doesn't happen without the gang stalking. And yes, if you go through the gang stalking, you are going to get to the point where you feel sorry for every one of them. You feel sorry for the people following you. You feel sorry for the people doing the energetic work. You feel not sorry for them in that they don't deserve the karma, but it's just like you're asking yourself, do they not know what they're doing right now? Because what they're doing right now is not, it's going to go horribly as one can expect anything to go. This is not a wish. This is not casting a spell or anything over people. It's not that. It's the reality of what's happening, and the signs are already with them, and they already know that. It takes a while to get here to this position. It takes a while to ascend. Ascension happens not necessarily even just by you learning a lesson. It's when the universe deems that you're ready. And so you might go to bed one night and just wake up the next morning, and everything is different. It's different. It's almost like in your sleep you've stepped into a new portal and you're a different person altogether, and it happens all the time. All the time. You were affected by something one day, you wake up the next day and it doesn't affect you, and you're just moving forward with your life, and it is what it is. This happens every single day, all the time. Not every single day. I'm not going to say every single day, but after every phase that you go through. And I know that it has to happen, that people have to do all of this stuff and they have to, but I'm kind of like, my God, it's so ridiculous. Like they know better. I trust me, if people want you to defeat yourself, they don't tell you anything. There's so many things that I've seen that I've not said a thing, and I'm just like, let it play out. But there comes a certain point where it's like, it really is over. It definitely is over. They can feel it. They know that it's over, that it's not gonna work. It's a matter of time. Might delay it today, might delay it tomorrow, but they're just as a matter of time. It finally comes to the point where it's like no more access whatsoever. Can't see anything, no more visibility, no more energy in the body. And it's gonna be wrapped up. And it's not far. It's not far. It's in the environment, it's in the energy. It's not just myself, it's in the energy. You can feel it. I just want to give a little word to anybody listening to this as I wrap this up. I'm going to do a spirit message card today. As I wrap this up, when you are ready, the teacher will show up. It's not going to show up before. When you're ready to step into who you are, it's going to show up, and just open yourself to the process and relax through it. You got to go through every ounce of this. It's going to feel in the beginning and through the majority of it, you're going to panic all the way through, and you're going to be like, I am in a living nightmare. And then slowly but surely, you start closing all of these doors one at a time. One at a time, you start closing every door, and until you finally get to your point where it's like, by the time you get to the point where you don't really care, like it could happen, it could not happen, you could care less, that's when it stops. You're like, geez, I don't, it's like you have, that's how you evolve. It's like you have to get to the point where it doesn't affect you anymore. You have to get to the point where you are essentially getting to the point where you're comfortable in fire, where the things that other people run from are the things that you feel very comfortable in. People feel very uncomfortable with spell work, and you kind of live in baneful magic every day. And it doesn't matter. It could affect you. You could care less. Um, that's the point that you have to get to, or that's the point where the universe wants to get you to, where it's like, in the beginning, you keep yourself in the fire. For myself, I kept myself in the fire because I couldn't see any other way. I couldn't see any alternative to quitting, to walking away, to all of that. I don't see what the alternative is. So I stayed in situations that were very grueling because I could care less. I'm not going to give up my life. And then it evolved all the way to the point where it's like, it doesn't matter if I'm gang stalked now or not. It doesn't matter if people follow me, if people do magic, if people try to open portals, if they send entities, like none of it matters to me whatsoever, because I'm used to it. And there's going to be more ascensions because there's going to be harder tests that come. And I remember Spirit was like, this is nothing. There are worse situations than this out there by far. And I was like, what? And they were like, there's a way worse out there than this. This is child's play. This is what I want to tell you. All of this that's happening here is child's play. I don't know for everybody's situation, but in my situation, they use children that just wake up. They teach them how to do baneful magic. They block them from the light, and they use their gifts for things like this. And so these are not like upper echelon practitioners at all. You could tell with the things that they're doing that they don't know what they're doing. I want to almost say these are street level practitioners that just really specialize in things like love spells and stuff like that. And none of this is being practiced with any intelligence or eloquence at all. And they're not working with entities that have any rank or that have any decency, to be honest, or any sophistication, if you will. This is just very haphazard, panicked, thrown together work. There is work that is different. And I've always known that. I've seen some of it before. There is work that actually is put together with a lot of sophistication and a lot of intelligence. And that is different work. And you are going to know what that is. So if you're here and you have a group of people attacking you, it's because you can handle it. If you're here and you have a group of people that are, it takes a group of them for just one of you, it's because they know that how strong you are, and they know that you can handle it, and you can handle it, and you will handle it eventually, because you will have no choice. You're going to wake up one day and you're going to get to the point you're going to say enough is enough, and whatever means that you need to take, you're going to go by and do it. So that is my message for today. I'm going to tell you, like I was told, male or female, if you're being gang stalked, you probably are a witch. Not a bad witch. You're a good witch. That's why you're going through this. So my spirit messages cards that popped out for the day. I get the same cards all the time, maybe because people need to hear the same things all the time. First one says, accept where you are at this moment in time. Only then can you begin to move forward. Be clear about your intentions. This makes it easier for us and the universe to help you. Doors will open unexpectedly. Be ready. Your intentions are very straightforward. You would like to be ascended fully. You want to step into your power fully. You want to be integrated with your spirit guides fully. You want to be the strongest version of yourself fully. You want to master yourself fully. Why am I not saying you want to not be gang stalked? Because you need the gang stalking for the ascension. Why am I not saying you want $1 million? Because when you step into the highest version of yourself, the money is nothing to manifest. Why am I not saying you want a new house, or you want financial stability, or you want people to like you? You don't need to ask for 3 wishes. You need to ask to be the genie. Do you see the difference? You need to ask to be the genie. You do not need to ask for 3 wishes. So you want to ascend. You want to step into your North Node. You want to be the strongest version of yourself. You want to continue to learn and be prepared for the life that you're meant to live. And you want to not be afraid of magic. You want to not be afraid of things that you don't entirely understand. You want to be the strongest version of yourself. Accept these difficult times. Those difficult times will pass. Nothing bad lasts forever. The sun will shine again, the birds will sing, and the clouds will clear, and you will be glad you kept moving forward. You will soon be rewarded for your patience. Hold on, you're stronger than you think. I don't know what's happened energetically, but I've definitely crossed a threshold. Thank God. Nothing bothers me anymore that used to bother me. Things don't trigger me. It just is what it is. I've accepted every part of it. It doesn't mean that I don't have moments of pushing back, but then I remember, I'm like, oh, wait, this has to happen. Okay, it is what it is. This is part of the calling. There's going to be a day. It's not going to be a day you know or can predict. There's just going to be a day where the clouds are going to clear and nothing is going to matter anymore. And even if you suffer all the consequences or the actions of being a TI, you no longer feel like a TI. You're literally just a normal person again. Whatever portals that they've opened up on you, these portals close. And once these portals close, some of it is just time. You just have to cross the time barrier. You just have to hold on to get there. And once that time barrier crosses and you've learned the lessons, you hop out of it. And that portal closes without you being in there, and people get trapped in that portal on their own. No matter how much you are being tested or pushed right now, stand your ground and push back. It's not just being there, it's pushing back and standing your ground. Believe in your own integrity and self-worth so much that no one can get in your way. Have the confidence to move forward. You can and will do this. You will do it. Forget you can do it. You will do it, because the universe is not going to budge. Spirits do not negotiate like we do. I've said that all the time. Whatever their agenda is, their agenda is. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. If they have to trigger you there, if they have to beat you into submission, they have to drag you there, whatever you're supposed to do, it's going to get done by anybody's hand. They will step out of the way, and you will continue getting spell work until you understand. I'm telling you, They protect you up until a certain point, and then when it's not working, they remove their hand. So you might as well take it as a lesson and learn. Perhaps you're reminded all too often just how quickly the phases in your life can shift. One change after another, you are learning to adapt and grow. Be kind and gentle to yourself. It's taken 2 years to get here. 2 years. It's probably a little more than 2 years. It's so worth it to get here. You're a different version of yourself. You're very confident in yourself. You're very assured, self assured. And if nothing else, you know that you can handle every challenge that has been thrown your way, and things that used to be challenging no longer even make you flinch. It is what it is. You just come to a point that you step into the best version of yourself. The crystal of the day is Morganite, or it's called pink beryl, and it's the crystal of emotional fulfillment. And this is what it looks like. This camera is way better for showing cards. So Morganite is a love attractor. It's extremely high vibration. It attracts unconditional love, which is the language of the universe, encouraging loving thoughts and actions towards yourself and others. It facilitates recognizing unfulfilled emotional needs and unexpressed feelings. It dissolves conscious and unconscious resistance to healing and change, clearing victim mentality and opening the heart to receive unconditional love and healing. It clears resistance to healing and change. The stone holds the emotional body stable while psychosomatic changes take place and creates a holding space for cellular and DNA changes to occur. This loving stone is a superb antidote to stress and tension. On the body, it deals with the circulatory and nervous systems, the heart, sexual organs, and cellular structure. And in the spirit, it aids soul retrieval, realigns the energetic and physical bodies with the soul, activates and cleanses the heart chakra. It's a pink stone, so it's a loving stone. This is Morganite. So that's the crystal of the day. I want to thank you guys for hanging in there with my message. Do check out the channel. There is so much information, not just about how to get through gang stalking, but how to evolve spiritually. The spiritual journey is beautiful if you can take it with your spirit guides. And how it was described to me is a magic carpet ride. It feels like a roller coaster. You're safe, you're secure, you're going to get through it. This is how you break out of gang stalking. This is how you beat the program. They try to say that it's unbeatable, but it's, you just have to ascend. They just keep it quiet, the people that have beat it, and many people have. People ascend every day. So thank you. Have a great day, and remember that God loves you.